There is a reason success feels distant to most people. Even when they work hard, even when they try, even when they want it deeply. It is not because success is rare. It is because the version of themselves they bring to the pursuit is common, and success has no interest in the common. Success does not respond to effort alone. It responds to identity. It responds to the person you have built yourself into long before the results arrive. It responds to the quiet transformation that happens beneath the surface, where no one is watching, where no applause is given, where no validation is offered. This is where the real work happens. And this is the place most people never go. They want success to notice them, but they never become noticeable to success. They want life to change, but they refuse to change themselves. They want outcomes without evolution. But the truth is simple and unmovable. Success is attracted to who you are, not what you want. Thomas Edison did not invent the light bulb because he wanted it badly. He invented it because he became the kind of mind that could endure thousands of failures without losing belief. Henry Ford did not transform transportation because he desired it. He did it because he became a man whose clarity was stronger than the doubt of the world. Abraham Lincoln did not lead a nation through its darkest hour because he wished for greatness. He did it because he built the resilience, the character, and the conviction that history could not overlook. They did not chase success. They became people success could not ignore. And that is the shift you must make. You must stop focusing on what you want to achieve and start focusing on who you must become. Because the world does not reward wishes. It rewards presence. It rewards strength. It rewards clarity. It rewards discipline. It rewards the person who walks into a room with a mind so focused and a character so solid that circumstances have no choice but to bend. This is not about talent. It is not about luck. It is not about timing. It is about transformation. You must accept that the life you want requires a different version of you than the one you are right now. Not slightly improved, not temporarily motivated, completely elevated. And this elevation begins internally. It begins with how you think when no one is around. It begins with what you tolerate from yourself. It begins with the standards you set when there is no pressure to do better. Because your private standards become your public results. Most people never understand this. They live publicly and think privately. They focus on appearances and ignore foundations. They try to change their outer life while leaving their inner life untouched. But nothing changes until you do. You must look at yourself honestly and ask, am I the kind of person success would choose? Not because you are lacking, but because you are capable of becoming more. This question is not meant to discourage you. It is meant to awaken you. Because the moment you ask it, you begin to see clearly where you must grow. You see where you are inconsistent. You see where you are distracted. You see where you are settling for less than you know you could be. And instead of feeling ashamed, you feel empowered. Because now you know the path forward. You realize that success is not hiding from you. It is waiting for you to rise. Napoleon Hill called it definiteness of purpose. Today you might call it identity alignment, but the meaning is the same. When your mind, your habits, your standards, and your actions align with the person you intend to be, your life begins to move with unstoppable momentum. You stop asking for opportunities. You start attracting them. You stop searching for direction. You start creating it. Because you are no longer trying to get success. You are becoming it. This is where belief becomes powerful. Not belief that things will work out, but belief that you are becoming someone capable of making things work out. You stop relying on motivation. You stop waiting for inspiration. You start operating from decision. Decision to be disciplined. Decision to be focused. Decision to be resilient. Decision to be intentional. And these decisions, repeated daily, begin to reshape you. You begin to feel different. You begin to think differently. You begin to act with a quiet confidence that does not need approval. Because you know who you are becoming. And this knowledge removes doubt. You stop asking, "Can I do this?" You start saying, "This is who I am now." This is where transformation becomes visible. Not immediately to the world, but clearly to you. You begin to notice how you respond to challenges differently, how you handle setbacks with more patience, how you approach work with more focus, how you treat your time with more respect. You are no longer drifting through your days. You are directing them. And direction is what separates those who are ignored from those who are remembered. Most people drift. A few decide. Most people react. A few lead. Most people hope. A few build. You are becoming one of the few. And as you do, something powerful happens. You stop caring whether success notices you because you realize you are becoming impossible to overlook. You begin to sense a quiet shift in the way you carry yourself. Not because anything dramatic has happened on the outside, but because something undeniable has changed on the inside. The way you think has sharpened. The way you choose has strengthened. The way you move through your day has become intentional instead of accidental. This is the stage where most people would still be waiting for results to confirm their progress. But you no longer need that confirmation because you can feel the reconstruction taking place within you. You realize that success is not an event that arrives one day. It is a state you enter gradually as your identity evolves. It is a posture of mind, a way of being, a discipline of thought that shapes every action before it shapes any outcome. And this is why most people never reach it. They wait for the outside world to change before they allow themselves to change inside. They wait for recognition before they commit. They wait for opportunity before they prepare. But you are no longer waiting. You are preparing before the opportunity appears. You are strengthening before the challenge arrives. You are becoming before the results show. Because you understand now that when the moment comes, you must already be ready. Henry Ford did not invent the automobile after the world demanded it. He was ready long before the world understood what it needed. Walt Disney did not build an empire of imagination because people asked for it. He carried the vision before anyone else could see it. They were prepared in advance. And that is what you are doing now. You are building a version of yourself that is ready for the life you want, even if that life has not yet arrived. This preparation gives you an advantage that is invisible to others, but powerful beyond measure. You start to feel less rushed and more focused, less anxious and more grounded, less reactive and more deliberate. Because you are no longer living in response to life. You are living in alignment with who you are becoming. And this alignment creates a sense of inner stability that most people never experience. You no longer depend on moods to dictate your actions. You no longer depend on motivation to push you forward. You depend on identity. You ask yourself, what does the person I am becoming do right now? And the answer comes clearly. You act from that place. This removes hesitation. It removes excuses. It removes the constant internal debate that drains energy from most people. You stop arguing with yourself. You start moving. This movement, repeated daily, creates momentum. And momentum is powerful because it makes progress feel natural instead of forced. You begin to notice that things that once felt difficult now feel automatic. Discipline feels normal. Focus feels expected. Growth feels necessary. You are no longer fighting yourself. You are cooperating with yourself. And this cooperation builds confidence. Not loud confidence, not prideful confidence, but a steady belief in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. You stop fearing challenges because you know they will reveal your strength. You stop avoiding discomfort because you understand it is shaping you. This is where resilience deepens. You stop seeing obstacles as interruptions. You start seeing them as part of the process. You stop asking why things are hard. You start asking what they are teaching you. And this mindset separates you from the majority. Most people experience difficulty and shrink. You experience difficulty and expand. Most people interpret setbacks as signs to stop. You interpret them as signals to grow. Most people lose faith when progress is slow. You strengthen your commitment because you know something they do not. You know that success is not ignoring you. It is watching who you are becoming. And the more you grow, the more you realize that success is not impressed by speed. It is impressed by consistency. Consistency in your habits. Consistency in your thinking. Consistency in your standards. This consistency is what makes you noticeable to success. You are no longer unpredictable. You are reliable. You are steady. You are disciplined. And discipline is rare. This rarity is what makes you stand out. You begin to carry yourself differently. There is a calmness in the way you speak, a certainty in the way you act, a clarity in the way you think. People may not understand what has changed, but they can feel it because you are no longer trying to prove yourself. You are building yourself. And this building is happening quietly, powerfully, steadily. You begin to understand why most people never reach this point. They never stay long enough. They never endure the phase where progress is invisible. They never push through the discomfort of growth. They never commit long enough for identity to transform. But you did. You stayed. And because you stayed, you are becoming someone success cannot ignore. Because you realize you are becoming impossible to overlook. And as you continue on this path, a deeper realization settles into you, one that changes how you see time itself. You stop measuring your life in days and start measuring it in decisions. Because you understand now that a single decision, repeated consistently, has more power than years of scattered effort. You see how the person you were months ago was shaped by the choices you made daily without thinking. And you see how the person you are becoming is being shaped by the choices you now make with intention. This awareness sharpens you. You begin to guard your time like something sacred, not because you are busy, but because you are purposeful. You realize that every hour is an opportunity to reinforce who you are becoming or retreat to who you used to be. There is no neutral ground anymore. Every action is a vote. Every habit is a statement. Every choice is a declaration of identity. And this realization gives you a sense of control that most people never feel. You are no longer drifting through hours, hoping for progress. You are directing your hours, creating progress. This is where focus becomes your greatest asset. You begin to see how easily the world distracts people. Endless noise, endless scrolling, endless conversations that lead nowhere, endless activities that consume time without building anything. You used to participate in this without thinking, but now you see it clearly. You see how distraction is the silent enemy of potential. You see how it keeps people busy without ever letting them grow. You see how it convinces people they are doing something when they are actually avoiding the work that would change their lives. And you refuse to fall into that trap again. You become selective. Selective about what you watch. Selective about what you listen to. Selective about who you spend time with. Selective about where your attention goes. Because you understand that attention is life. Where your attention goes, your identity grows. And you want your identity to grow in the direction of strength, clarity, discipline, and purpose. This selectiveness gives you an edge. While others scatter their focus, you concentrate yours. While others chase entertainment, you chase growth. While others escape discomfort, you lean into it. This difference compounds over time. You begin to notice how much faster you learn, how much deeper you think, how much clearer your mind becomes. Because you are no longer feeding it noise. You are feeding it intention. This is where learning becomes powerful. You do not learn for information. You learn for transformation. You study not to know more, but to become more. You read, listen, observe, and reflect with a purpose, to refine the person you are building. And this constant refinement makes you sharper each day. You begin to see patterns others miss. You begin to understand situations more quickly. You begin to make decisions with greater confidence. Because your mind is no longer cluttered. It is disciplined. This discipline creates adaptability. When circumstances change, you do not panic. When plans shift, you do not feel lost. When unexpected problems arise, you do not feel overwhelmed. Because your identity is not tied to external stability. It is rooted in internal strength. You trust yourself to handle whatever happens. And this trust is powerful. It removes fear from your actions. It removes hesitation from your choices. It removes doubt from your thinking. You begin to move through life with a sense of quiet authority, not because you control everything, but because you control yourself. And self-control is the foundation of influence. You start to notice that people respond to you differently. They sense the steadiness in you. They feel the clarity in your presence. They recognize the discipline in your actions. Because you are no longer reacting to life. You are responding with intention. This is what makes you impossible to ignore. Not loudness, not attention-seeking, but depth. Depth of character. Depth of focus. Depth of commitment. You understand now why success cannot overlook certain people. It is not because they are flashy. It is because they are solid. And you are becoming solid. Solid in your habits. Solid in your thinking. Solid in your standards. This solidity gives you confidence in a way that nothing else can. You no longer worry about whether you are on the right path. You know you are. Because the person you are becoming is exactly the kind of person success is drawn to. And you can feel it. Not as a distant hope, but as a present reality forming day by day. You are no longer chasing a future. You are constructing it. And the more you build, the more you realize that success is not something you will have. It is something you will be. People may not understand what has changed, but they can feel it. Because you are no longer trying to prove yourself. You are building yourself. And this building is happening quietly, powerfully, steadily. You begin to understand why most people never reach this point. They never stay long enough. They never endure the phase where progress is invisible. They never push through the discomfort of growth. They never commit long enough for identity to transform. But you did. You stayed. And because you stayed, you are becoming someone success cannot ignore. Because you realize you are becoming impossible to overlook.